Well, greetings and salutations, imagination connoisseurs. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show right here on the World Wide Web, the John Campea Show. I'm your host, John. I'm not John. I'm Robert Burnett, and I'm a co-host because John is in the great state of Texas. He's not messing with Texas. He's getting some great barbecue, and he met a lot of great people last night, and he's here to tell you, John, what's been going on with you in the great city of Austin?
I'm in Austin, Texas, which is great. I love this city. I've been to Austin a number of times. I used to come down here all the time for the South by Southwest Film Festival. This is a great city, man. This is a really, really great city. And last night we had our movie meetup in Austin. And first of all, the group of people that came out. Jonathan's got an image here of all the folks that came out. Big thank you to everybody who came out, including our friend Sean Chandler. Came out. Many of you guys watch Sean on YouTube. Of course, he's been on our show before. You can catch him a little bit further to the right in the picture there. It was really great having Sean turn out there last night. And everybody there who came out. Big thank you to everyone. I even had one or two people who were at the Dallas meetup and then decided to drive down to Austin for the Austin meetup as well. That was a lot of fun. But I got to tell you, we did our meetup at a movie theater called the Galaxy Theater in Austin. And I never told them, to the best of my knowledge, they didn't even know we were coming, to the best of my knowledge. We never told them we were coming. Nothing like that. But when you walked into the theater last night for our screening of Now You See Me for our movie meetup, Galaxy Theater had this up on the screen. This was on the screen in the Galaxy Theater. And so I just, a big heartfelt thank you to the folks at Galaxy Theater, because I'm not gonna lie, guys, that made me feel really special. It really did, and it was very heartwarming for me. And I know it was really cool for a lot of our viewers who were there to see the show they watch up on the screen. But for me personally, like I said, I'm a absolute nobody anywhere, but to walk in and to see all the people who come and then to have the theater do that on the screen, that was really, really cool of them. So a big thank you again to Galaxy Theaters for doing that for us, and to everybody who came out last night to our movie meetup. And we're going to hang out in Austin today and went to a Pilates class. We're going to go to Terry Black's to go, like, some of the most famous Texas barbecue. I'm going to play some poker at the Lodge tonight. And then tomorrow we hit the road to go to Orlando for our Monday movie meetup at the AMC in Disney Springs. So we're looking forward to coming out there and seeing all you guys down there in Florida. All right, guys, here's how today's show is going to go. As always, we're going to start off by talking about a number of topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you have a thought, theory, opinion, question, or an observation about any of the topics we discuss here today or others, and you're watching live, because you got to be watching live to do this, use the super chat feature in the live chat, fire on in a message for us, and as long as it's appropriate to be addressed on the show, we'll address it in the second part of the show. All right, guys, with that down, let's get things started here, shall we? We're going to start off with this. Well, one of the my most anticipated upcoming DC project is not Supergirl, although I'm really looking forward to that. Is not Clayface, which with Flanagan writing that, super excited about that, but that's not it. It's not even Superman Man of Tomorrow. No, the one I am most excited about right now is the series Lanterns. I am looking forward to Lanterns. I cannot wait for it. But as we heard before, sounds like we are going to have to wait for it a little bit longer, because it's now been verified, this time by the Wrap, and not just from the Wrap. The CEO of HBO, Blois, who I believe his name is, has confirmed that they have pushed Lanterns to an undetermined date in the late summer of 2026. Now, some of you guys might remember that the Hollywood Reporter let it out that they were going to move Lanterns to the end of summer, which would mean it is now going to be coming out after Supergirl, when it was going to come out prior to Supergirl. Then more statements came out saying, oh, no, this movie's coming out at the beginning of the summer. Like, all right, but the Hollywood Reporter stood their ground and said, no, we heard it's going to be end of summer. And now HBO has made it official. It's coming out after summer. Now, the date change on its own isn't really that big of a deal. I mean, it's a couple of months. Okay, it's not too terribly much. But the part that's really interesting, and we kind of touched on this before when this report first came out, was the fact that this could have overall story implications for the DCU, considering the plan always was that in line of linear storytelling, Lanterns was going to come out first. We were going to have Lanterns. We were going to have seen Lanterns and all the events that happened in it. And then Supergirl was going to hit theaters. Now that it's coming out after Supergirl, it raises some questions. Questions like, does this mean that the two really aren't all that connected? Like some people were thinking we're going to see Lanterns, and in the last episode, there's going to be a big post-credit scene in the final episode that sets up Supergirl. Well, clearly that's not the case. And, you know, it has raised the question, Rob, because James Gunn always said when he was setting this thing up that he wasn't going to make it so anybody had any homework to do to watch any of the new DC stuff. But it started to look like maybe there would be, and that like we were wondering, is Lanterns going to be required viewing for somebody? Is somebody going to have to sign up to HBO to watch Lanterns in order to go and watch Supergirl? Well, apparently not, because if they're able to just take it and move it to the other side of it, apparently it won't be all that connected. So the one bad thing in this for me, Rob, because moving it a couple of months, not a big deal, whether how connected is Supergirl, whatever, it just sucks because it is my most anticipated thing. And now it means I got to wait longer. And even if it was just 48 hours longer, it bums me out. So, and by the way, Rob, they haven't actually set a date. Now They're just saying late summer 2026. Well, that could very easily become early fall 2026 to mid-fall 2026. I don't know. It just bums me out. You heard about this news, Rob. What's your takeaway from it? And what repercussions or ramifications are there by this move, if any?
Well, I think first and foremost, they're looking at what Peacemaker season 2 did, and they're slotting this into where Peacemaker season 2 was slotted in this year. So I think they've seen that, oh, okay, these a DC show worked well, you know, end of August and into September. So, and October. So I guess that could be part of their thinking. But two, I would hope that if they are, like you, this is my most anticipated DC project, only because I love Green Lantern, and it's wild that they're bringing these two Green Lanterns together. We've already seen Guy Gardner. I'm just really curious about it from a mythology standpoint, a universe standpoint. I love the actors they've cast as Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. Brilliant idea.
Getting him in there was a great idea.
So I'm really excited about this show. And like you, I'm disappointed that we have to wait longer. But I do have faith that they'll figure out a way to tie it in, because obviously I'm curious, are we going to see, they say it takes place on Earth, but that doesn't mean we won't get a glimpse of Oa or the Guardians, and if Supergirl has a cosmic element to it, you know, if they follow the storyline that Tom King wrote, they're going to be in space for the majority of this movie. Well, space and other planets.
Space is pretty big, though.
It's true.
Space we've got low, big.
but I mean that the Green Lantern Corps is a big part of the DC cosmic mythology. So I'm just hoping that, you know, they're giving it the time they need to make it great. And it is HBO, and I'm willing to give HBO the benefit of the doubt. So I think that there's a number of reasons. I don't think we need to be worried about anything. I just think that I think they have a, you know, like James Gunn said earlier that we reported on, he doesn't quite know how HBO does everything that they do. So I would defer to HBO. They haven't let me down very much. So I'm still looking forward to this show. I can't wait to see Supergirl, and but I really, like you, can't wait to see this. And I don't like having to wait either.
Worries? I'm not concerned. I'm just saying it sucks because I've been waiting to watch this, and now we just got to wait a little bit longer, and it just sucks. That's all. Guys.
Wouldn't mind a few more images. Just help a guy out.
Yeah.
A few more images.
Right now, we only have the one
so
image.
that I'm not just throwing up the one thing over and over.
It's the exact same image you have to go to and default to every single time. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? HBO has confirmed that Lanterns has been moved to the end of the summer of 2026, which means it's now coming out after Supergirl instead of before. Does this worry you? Does it cause any concern? Does it give you any theories about how they are or are not going to be directly connected to each other? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. Okay, look, there is no denying and no debating. Frozen are monstrous films with Titanic-sized box office. The two Frozen films each have already made well over $1 billion each. This is a $2 to $3 billion franchise already. It makes a lot of money. I get it. But there's a report coming out of the Wrap today that says all three of Kristen Bell, Josh Gad, and Adele Dazeem
Nice.
have scored $60 million each.
Nice.
$60 million each
So they are mega rich.
for Frozen's 3 and 4. This puts them in the Robert Downey Jr. playing Tony Stark pay scale range.
For voice acting.
For showing up for about 3 weeks, maybe 2, after all the animators make the film, going into some sound booths and recording dialogue. Okay. Look, the Wrap is, I don't consider the Wrap to be quite up there with like Deadline, Variety, The Hollywood Reporter. But if I was going to say there was an upper echelon of the trades, I might put it in there in the number 4 position, right? Like much better than a lot of the other trades that are out there. But I think it's still Deadline, Variety, The Hollywood Reporter, and then probably the Wrap. So I think the Wrap is very reputable. I go to the Wrap a lot. I like the Wrap a lot. But I got to say this, guy. I have to say this. I have a very hard time believing the authenticity of this report because I just cannot imagine. I cannot imagine, and I cannot let it go, that they would pay Robert Downey Jr. in Avengers scale kind of money to voice actors who are treasures. Voice actors are amazing. I'm not trying to diminish voice acting whatsoever. However,
it's not your likeness and face, like, you know, your body.
I literally, it's, and I $60 million for a couple. What? Now, you might be able to make an argument to me, but even for Idina Menzel, who is the voice of Let It Go, and the whole voice of that franchise, you can justify to me an impressive pay scale. But again, we are talking about, oh God, we're talking about 7 times the money Academy Award winners have won for their films, in which they were on set for 4 months and acted every day, and it's their face and image. And again, I love Idina Menzel and I love Kristen Bell. By the way, her show on Netflix right now, Nobody Wants This, is actually really brilliant. It's a really brilliant show. Anyway, that aside, I just have a hard time. I have a hard time believing this. And again, I'm not pointing my fingers at the Wrap and calling them liars, but this is so unbelievable for any sports fans out there. Like when the news that the Dallas Mavericks traded Luka to LA, nobody believed it. Everybody wanted to see confirmation because it was just too unbelievable. This is too unbelievable for me to believe. I got to see Variety back this up. I got to see Deadline back this up. I got to see The Hollywood Reporter back this up. Hell, I got to see Gus's Gas Station Movie Reviews.fart back this up, because I cannot. And if this is true, somebody should get fired. Somebody should get fired. Like, I love Josh Gad. I do. I'm actually I know he doesn't have all the fans in the world. I am actually a real big appreciator of Josh Gad. But there is no way in fuck that he should be making $30 million a film for voicing a fucking snowman. There's no universe in which that's acceptable. And by the way, for anybody out there, and I can already hear the chatter going, well, John, why do you care? It's not your money. Yes, it is. Because again, one of the big problems in Hollywood today is they're overspending on everything. And when things get overspent, that means it becomes harder and harder to make money. So guess where the studios go to get that extra money that they're spending? They get it from you, and they get it from me. So I want to put it right back at them that you are the one who pays for it, whether it comes for how high the concession stand price is getting, how high the movie tickets price. This is why. So don't not be concerned about somebody going into a voice booth. And again, I feel bad saying this because I treasure all three of these people. I think they're wonderful, but there is no way that you should be spending $60 million per performer on a 2-picture deal in which they're just doing the voices to the characters. There's no way. There's no reality in which that. And I would say this: if these were live action things, like if Kristen Bell and Idina Menzel and Josh Gad were all going to be starring in the live action version of it, I would still say it's not worth $60 million. You shouldn't be paying them $60 fucking million each. I can't wrap my head. Rob, I don't know if you can tell. This is breaking my whole sense of reality here a bit. This seems absolutely ridiculous to me. And again, I ain't blaming Kristen Bell or Josh Gad or Idina Menzel. Hell, if they want me to come in and fart in the office and give me $30 million to do it, I'll happily take it. I don't blame them. You take what they're willing to give you. I just think it's utterly ridiculous that they're paying this amount. Anyway, Rob, you saw this report. Believable, not believable, nothing to be concerned about? I don't know. What do you think about it?
Oh, I think it's believable. And if you look at what the two Frozen movies made at the worldwide box office, it's floating around $2.7 billion. Let's also add in all the merchandising and everything to do with Frozen. I don't think it's out of the realm of what they should be paid, actually. And if you think about going back to something like
the animators who will work for 4 years on these films will probably take home $200,000 or $300,000.
I understand, but these characters,
you can't tell me you can't find somebody who can reasonably replicate the voice Josh Gad does for Olaf the Snowman. Like $60 million?
It's the old.
And you think this is even remotely justifiable?
John, it's the old Picasso story. Guy comes up to Picasso at a restaurant and says, "Hey, man, can you draw something for me?" Picasso takes a napkin, puts a little doodle on it, hands it to the guy and says, "That's $1 million. And the guy says to Picasso, $1 million? You did that in 2 seconds. He said, "Yeah, but it took my entire life to know how to be able to do that in 1 second." So what you're paying them for, what you're paying your 3 stars for, is for their entire fealty to this franchise, not just their performances, but all their appearances in perpetuity and throughout the universe forever. And this is one of Disney's biggest franchises. So what you're doing is you're paying these people to basically being chained to this franchise forevermore. Is it worth 2.7 billion? I mean, if you think about it, it's only 180 million for all of them, and they're probably going to make another $1.5 billion on this franchise. So that takes the value of this franchise up to $4 billion.
Yeah, but Rob, that's predicated on the assumption that if anybody other than Kristen Bell did that voice, this movie wouldn't have made that money.
Oh, well, of course.
That's obviously not true. Or if anybody other than Josh Gad did the voice of Olaf the Snowman, the movie wouldn't have made 2.7 billion. The movies wouldn't have made 2. Of course they would have. Yes, they would have. And by the way, that's not me trying to cast any shade on Josh Gad, who is awesome, or Kristen Bell, who is awesome. But it's like, I don't like, meanwhile, we have stories of like people who are going to be working years, not 3 weeks, years on this film that are going to have trouble paying bills. And they're going to pay these guys for 3-4 weeks of work, $60 billion each. $
60
million each.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, to me, this story by itself is becoming a poster child for what is broken in Hollywood.
I don't disagree with you.
Shining example of it.
I don't disagree with you, but I'm just saying that I think that there is, look, whether we like it or not, You know, this is just like I was going to say, Jack Nicholson ended up making like $60 million off Tim Burton's Batman back in '89. And it's not unprecedented that actors, you know, for these big roles, these are huge, these are anomalies. Not everybody in the world gets this kind of a payday. This is an outlier. So it's
not even outliers to somebody like Jack Nicholson, who was part of the reason that the studio greenlit the movie, and part of the reason that a lot of people thought this movie now looked like it had credibility because you had a real movie star in it, and was actually on set for 4 months in makeup making the movie happen. We're talking about the outliers being some people who walk into a sound booth who are awesome and should be paid very well. But I mean, this kind of money,
but the thing is, are you going to disrupt a product that's they've made two movies that made $2.7 billion at the box office?
I agree, but the argument is to pay them well and to pay them handsomely.
I know.
I would say if you paid, like point me to another voice actor. And by the way, for Jack, you know, and I know that part of that was he, like Alec Guinness, was wise enough to say,
yep.
But
that, by the way, that could be part of what
I was thinking.
They're talking about. I mean,
it's not in the report. There's nothing in the report about this being based on box office results.
But the headline said it was a package. So
for 2 films, not a points package. It just says a package of 2 films, 3 and 4, so 30 million each.
Right, which means though that could include merchandising, that can include spin-offs, that can include a lot of other things. Because package is pretty. That's so if it's 30 million each, that means 30 million a film. It's just not 60 million a film. And that also might have to do with promotional things. That might have to do with a touring show. That might have to do with appearances.
We're talking money that some of the best actors in Hollywood have never seen those types of paydays.
Right, but how many people have been in a franchise where 2 movies made $2.7
But again, they're
billion?
just there. It's not that big because of them. They're there, and they do it great and they do it well. But again, when you're talking about animators who are going to be working 14 hours a day, probably for 4 years, and they might take home $300,000 or $400,000, but you're going to give a dude $30 million to walk into a sound booth and make a voice of a snowman for 3, 4, 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Again, to me,
I could see if
this is a great example of why Hollywood is broken. This is
I
awful.
could see if this was a package outside of 3 and 4. If it was like, hey, we have 3 seasons on Disney Plus that you are all going to guarantee you're giving your voices to. We're going to do a Broadway stage version of this that you're going to tour from New York, London, this and that for like a year. I could see if it was like this huge package where it's like, okay, got it. But I do wonder on the points if they were demanding points and Disney just said, just pay them off, don't give them points.
That could be too.
I don't know.
I mean, oh boy, again, just to me, this is the new poster child of why Hollywood is broken, why these movies are costing so much money to make, and why your movie tickets and your popcorn and your soda is getting more and more expensive. It's because they're giving $240 million to people just for going in and do voice acting. Again, it's not the entire problem, but this is the poster child of what's broken in Hollywood today, that they got to fix this. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, don't get me wrong. I am super happy for Idina Menzel and Josh Gad. And I'm super thrilled for them. I am. I mean, if they're offering it, take it 100%. I just think there's something completely broken in their brains that they would put up that kind of money for voice actors in a movie, regardless of how big the movie is. Anyway, guys, maybe you feel differently about it, which is the great thing about talking about movie stuff, is that we can all have different opinions. However you feel about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. That down, let's go on to this, shall we? Well, Daredevil Born Again came out on Disney Plus, and while it wasn't quite as good as the Netflix's version of Daredevil, I still thought it was quite good, and I really enjoyed it. And of course, one of the things a lot of us enjoyed was seeing Frank Castle, John Bernthal, back as Punisher. But if you were looking forward to that in the next season of Daredevil, well, we got some bad news for you from one of the network executives themselves, which is the Punisher is not going to appear in Daredevil Born Again Season 2 They say because of his upcoming Disney Plus TV special, which is nonsense. You can shoot that and shoot the show. I don't buy that excuse at all. But anyway, they're now saying that Frank is not going to be in it. Now, look, I don't want to overstate it because the reality is Punisher was only in a couple of episodes, right? I can't even remember which episode he didn't even show up until. So it's not like he is a main piece of the Daredevil series, at least not this one. And so it's okay. That's fine. It's not the biggest deal in the world. But we all love seeing him show up in these films or in these shows. We love seeing him and Matt together because of their polar oppositeness, but also when they're in combat scenes together, it's awesome. He just brings a great edge to the Daredevil series. And again, do I think it's absolutely necessary that Punisher is in there? No, it's called Daredevil. It's not called Daredevil and Punisher. It's not absolutely necessary. But does it add something to it? And I really think it does. So listen, Rob, for me, it's not the end of the world that John Bernthal isn't going to be in the next season of Daredevil. I'm still going to look forward to it. But number one, I don't buy that, oh, he couldn't because he's doing his TV special. I don't buy that. There's obviously other reasons, which is fine, and that's cool. And again, while it doesn't make or break it for me, it does leave me a little bit disappointed, I admit. Anyway, you heard about this, Rob. Were you surprised? I certainly was to hear that we're not going to see John Bernthal in the new Daredevil season.
I was, because even though he was in just a little bit of Born Again, dude, he was awesome. Like that, I'm a huge fan of his. So yeah, I mean, look, I do think, it's interesting because they talked about bringing back, like creating that vigilante group to fight against Kingpin's anti-vigilante squad. So I would think that Punisher could be used, but if they're truly bringing back the Defenders and stuff, I'm just happy that we're going to get a Punisher standalone because I'm really curious to see what that is. Because, remember, they were talking about not doing those anymore. And we all love Werewolf by Night and love the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. So I'm really looking forward to this Punisher standalone. But, I am a little bummed because, like you said, I love seeing Matt and Frank together. And they should go out on the road. What a great team. They should be in the new Lantern series.
That'd be awesome.
But no, I'm gonna be cautiously optimistic and say I'm gonna really look forward to that one shot now. If we're not going to get it back in Daredevil.
Yeah, and look, it's not like we're going to be hurting too much for some Punisher in our lives. Like again, we are getting the special, and then let's not forget that we are going to get, I don't know how much or how little, but we are going to get some Punisher here in Spider-Man Brand New Day. So we're not going to be hurting too much. No. We're not going to have a vitamin P deficiency in our veins there for a while, because we are going to get a good old healthy injection of P. Everybody needs a good healthy dose of P. No, we're going to get a lot of Punisher. We're definitely getting a lot of Punisher, but I just really like seeing him with Daredevil.
I do too.
I really do. So again, not world-ending news, but a little bit bummed out to hear it. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? They've confirmed now that we are not going to see Frank in the next season of Daredevil. Does that diminish your anticipation of the show? It doesn't for me. I'm still really looking forward to it, but I am a little bit bummed. However you guys feel about it, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? So as we talked about a little bit earlier in the show, I'm in Austin right now. We did our movie meetup in Austin, and the movie that we watched was the third film in the Now You See Me franchise. Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Now, full disclosure, I'm not a big fan of the first two films. I didn't hate the first one, to be honest. I didn't hate it, but the second one I thought was quite a step down for it. So I was really surprised they were even making a third. And I didn't have a lot of hope, but I did start hearing some people say it was the best of the trilogy so far. So it's like, okay, you know me. I leave my expectations at the door and I go in to watch the movie. And what I watched was one of the biggest pieces of garbage that I've seen in a long time. And it breaks my little Italian heart to say that, because I really like every single one of those people in this movie. And I'm about to give you a little heads up here. I'm going to spoil the whole movie for you. All right. So if you don't want this movie spoiled for you because you've been waiting for years for chapter 3 of the Now You See Me franchise, well, you might want to click away because I'm going to spoil this thing. Now, look, first, let me give a disclaimer here. As much as I hate this movie, and I'll go into why in a minute, I want you to keep in mind that overall, this thing's got a 60% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which may not be a great rating, but it does mean that the majority of the people who have seen it like it.
Still technically fresh.
Just because I hate this movie does not necessarily mean that you will hate this movie. So if you've been really excited about going to see it, don't let me dissuade you from seeing it. Go check it out for yourself. But if you're on the fence, let me give you a little shove. Okay, so here's the thing that really irritates me. One of the things that bothers me about the whole series is that a number of things they do, unlike when you watch a good bank heist movie and then they reveal how they did it, you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's how it would work. Like the stuff they do in the Now You See Me movies, no, it's just witchcraft. It's just sorcery. Like, okay, yeah, oh, I see you had a piece of paper up there. That's still not how it would work. Like you're doing things that are not humanly possible, even by the great illusionists of today. But whatever, that's a side thing. Here's the thing that really kills me. So the whole basis of this movie, okay? The basis of this movie is that the Horsemen have been broken up for a bit, but each of them get a card from the Eye, directing them to come back together and join up with these 3 younger kids. And that they need to work with these 3 younger kids, the Eye directs them to take down this big international arms dealer played by Rosamund Pike, I love Rosamund Pike, and she's really good in the movie, who's got this priceless, most valuable gem in the world, the Heart Diamond, right? And the Eye directs them to work with these kids. Okay, so as it turns out, it was all set up by the 3 kids. Okay? There, I just gave the whole movie away.
It was you darn kids.
Yep, it was the 3 kids. They set up everything. They tricked the Horsemen into helping them. It was all about one of the kids who was secretly the younger half brother of Rosamund Pike, who had stole his family name and killed his mother and stole his family fortune from him. Turns out that him and his 2 friends just wanted to get revenge on this girl and, right the wrongs that she committed. And they tricked the Horsemen into helping them out. Okay, so now that you know the end, here's where it got me absolutely infuriated. In the midst of the movie, before we as the audience and before the Horsemen find out that this is all just being set up by these 3 kids who are now working with the Horsemen, they go to this, you see parts of this in the trailer, they go to this French chateau that in this picture they're standing in front of. And it's a mansion of all the late great illusionists. And inside is Morgan Freeman's character. Hello, my horseman. And they clearly have great affection and love for each other. Oh, but wait, the French police show up, and in the midst
Clouseau?
of their escape, you'd think, in the midst of them trying to escape from the police, Morgan Freeman's character, their beloved friend, gets shot and dies.
Oh, man.
And to which is very emotional and everybody's very sad.
It's like bucket list.
But he gets shot and dies. And by the way, they're all in this room. The Horsemen, the 3 kids, and Morgan Freeman are all in this room together when they hear that the police have arrived at the mansion. So Morgan Freeman tells all the rest of them, split up and run. And I remember thinking, I'm sitting there in the theater, I'm like, for why tell them to split up and run? And then, so they're all running and the various police officers are chasing each group running around through the mansion. And Morgan Freeman, he stays in the room and then the police show up and Morgan Freeman does a little trick and he escapes through a hatch into a secret tunnel under the ground that leads out of the mansion, which immediately raises the question, why the fuck did Morgan Freeman tell them to split up and run through the mansion?
And why did he wait?
Yeah, instead of us standing around and waiting here for the police to come in, hey, I got this door in the floor here. Let's just all go into it and escape through the secret tunnel. No, I literally ask out loud to the people sitting here, why the fuck did he have them run away? Why didn't they all just go through the tunnel? Anyway, then going through the tunnel, the police catches up with Morgan Freeman, they shoot him and he dies and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, you fast forward to the end of the movie, right? When it gets revealed to the Horsemen that these three kids have been behind this thing the whole time. And they're the ones who masterminded this because they wanted to take down this corrupt arms dealing Rosamund Pike and take the money that she's stolen from people and give it back to the people. And the Horsemen are like, wow, you kids are really good. And never once did one of them decide to bring up, hey, question, why did you get our friend killed? Never once did they go, oh, you've been behind this whole thing. Like okay, you do know that our mentor got shot and died in an underground tunnel. Like, not one of them even brought it up. Not one of them even brought it up. It was all good. It was all good. No worries. And then they're doing these things where, oh, this is how we pulled off the big illusion at the end. The only problem is the way you're explaining the way the illusion got played out. In the movie, we saw while this was going on, two of the people involved with the illusion were in completely different places, completely inconsistent with the narration and linear timeline of the movie. And it just flew apart. Oh, and at one point, Rosamund Pike captures all the Horsemen in this big glass box and is like, yes, it's like an old Bond villain. I'm going to fill up this box with sand.
I expect you to die, Mr. Bond.
That's exactly it. I expect you to die, Horseman. But oh, wait. Tick-tock, it's getting late. I can't stay here and keep an eye on you, or can I spare the manpower to leave somebody here to keep an eye on you to make sure you die very slowly in this big glass box that fills up with sand? So we're all just going to leave and trust that it'll all work out. So she leaves. Nobody's there to keep an eye on them. And all it takes was Isla Fisher, who's got a wedding ring with a diamond in it. I'll use the diamond to cut the glass. And they break out of the glass. Anyway, they came this close to dying, and not one of them brought up, hey, this little genius plan of yours, three kids who masterminded this whole thing, we almost fucking died.
Hey,
you just about got us killed.
It's hard out there for
nothing.
magicians.
And I'm just watching this whole thing, and I'm like, I love the director. I love all the actors. And by the way, they brought back, what's the actress's name who was one of the Horsemen in the first one, but then they replaced her with Isla Fisher in the second one. And she's the love interest in Hot Tub Time Machine. Guys in the live chat, help me out if you remember the name of the actress. Lizzie Kaplan. Yeah. And I love Lizzie Kaplan. That was the one big pleasant surprise for me, that Lizzie Kaplan comes back in, because she's so unceremoniously just disappeared from the second film. Anyway, it's a terrible film. This is a terrible, terrible movie. And I just don't know what else. I just came out of the theater for the movie meetup, and I was like incensed. I was like, oh my God, like I still couldn't get over that they do the big reveal and all the Horsemen, the three gets all hug. Oh, this is so great. Oh, wait, you killed our friend because of you and this stupid plan that you could have let us in on and we could have helped. But no, you got our friend shot and killed, and they never brought it up once. I don't know. It really irritated me a lot.
Can tell.
But again, that's just me. Sometimes, guys, there's a movie you love and you see that everybody else in the world hates it, and you're like, what is wrong with reality? Or sometimes, like me in this situation, you see a movie that you absolutely loathe, but then you look at the critic scores, and there's a good amount of people that like it. And I think I'm taking crazy pills, because this movie is terrible. Anyway, Rob, you've seen that this movie was coming. What are your thoughts on this whole thing?
Look, I've only seen the first movie of this franchise, and I liked it. So I have not seen, and I like Isla Fisher too a lot. So I have not seen this. I haven't seen the second one, nor have I seen this. And these are John. These were always. I saw the first one in the theater, but I felt after seeing it, I could, if there were sequels, I can catch up with them on cable or something on streaming, which I haven't done. But the first two movies collectively made almost $700 million. So it makes sense to me that they made a third one. It's another Lionsgate franchise that quietly makes money for them. And I think it's Lionsgate. Is it Lionsgate?
Yes, it is.
It's Lionsgate. You know, they got John Wick, they got the Hunger Games, they got this. They've quietly been building these mid-level franchises for themselves. They got Michael coming out. Don't sleep on Lionsgate. So I can see why they made the movie, and I'm glad people like it. But you're right. I don't like movies that don't play fair. And especially, you know, if somebody dies. Look, with a movie like this, why doesn't Morgan Freeman pop up at the end? Why you got to kill him? He should disappear and ride off into the magical sunset.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because at the very, very end of the movie, all the horsemen and the three kids are hanging out in this secret apartment that nobody's supposed to know where they're at. They're all hanging out, talking about how, we all love each other and blah, blah, blah. And then there's a knock on the door. And somebody says, "Are you expecting something?" To which Justice Smith says,
Tyrese.
"Nobody's supposed to even know we're here." Yeah, it's Tyrese. And they go to and I was fully expecting, because of this huge gap that nobody even mentions, that they all almost got killed and that they got Morgan Freeman killed and all this kind of stuff. I thought, Morgan Freeman's
it seems like it would lead you to that.
Alive.
Yeah.
Nope. It's just a package at the door, and they open it up, and this Star Wars-like Emperor Palpatine hologram pops up, and it's Mark Ruffalo. "Hey, horseman. I see you found these kids. All right, kids, welcome to the Eye. Because your job," he says, and this is the last line of the movie, "is just getting started."
That's the best Mark Ruffalo I've ever heard.
I thought it was a pretty good Mark Ruffalo.
I thought you were in the room with us.
It's almost as like you thought the Hulk was going to pop up any second.
Sounded just like Spotlight.
Just like Spotlight. So, I mean, so it's him. So clearly they're going to make more. And you know what? As horrendous crap fest of this movie is, of course you make more. This is a very inexpensive franchise for them to make. And it just made 75 million worldwide in its first week. So of course you make more. I mean, if the head of Lionsgate called me and said, "Should we make more?" I'll say it breaks my heart to say it. And I feel like a piece of my soul is dying for saying it. But yes, you have to make more. It only makes business sense. So there's going to be more. All I can hope is that they make them better, because this movie absolutely sucks. And I say that as somebody who loves everybody involved with it.
Great
I
cast.
love Lionsgate. I like the director. I love the cast. Dave Franco, Isla Fisher.
Literally a top tier cast.
I like the fact you had to drive to Austin, Texas to see it.
Yeah. That was really committed.
You'll never forget that.
Yep. And boy, does this make Running Man look like an Oscar winner. But anyway, guys, that's my little take on Now You See Me, Now You Don't. I don't know if you could tell, I really didn't like the movie at all. But hey, maybe some of you saw it and you did like it. Again, all film is subjective, and that's the best thing about it. Just because I didn't like it doesn't mean you can't like it. And if you did see it, I hope you did. But man, oh God, I hated this movie. Anyway, whatever you guys felt about it, jump into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, that down. Let's move on to this, shall we? Well, as we talked about on the show the other day, Moana, the live action film, dropped its first trailer. And boy, I thought it was great. Like, I thought it was a really, really good trailer. I enjoyed it immensely. I thought it was wonderful. And I thought it was like perfect for a live action adaptation and for a first trailer. Well, apparently we aren't the only ones who watched it, because according to the story in Deadline, Moana has now cracked the top 10 most viewed trailers of all time, landing $182 million, 182 million views of that trailer in its first 24 hours. For historical context, here's what the top 10 list did look like. It looked like this. So Deadpool and Wolverine still is the number one most viewed trailer ever. I think that'll change once the Doomsday trailer drops. I think we all think that. Spider-Man No Way Home with 355, Avengers, Transformers, Avengers, Lion King, Thor, like 8 of the 10 on these are all Disney films. Anyway, but down there at number 10, One of the Avengers Infinity War trailers, 179 million views. That has now been bumped out by Moana. And you know what? It doesn't surprise me at all. It doesn't surprise me in the least. Again, we've been talking about this, right? Like the original Moana film, guys, it had taken the #1 spot on the most streamed movie in the world for a couple of years in a row. Most streamed movie in the world for a couple of years in a row. Hence, they put out the sequel. And even though the sequel was not nearly as good as the first one, it still made over $1 billion. And a lot of people asking, well, why do a live action one? This thing only came out like 8, 9, getting close to 10 years ago. Well, this is why. Because people are really hungry for it. People are going to go out and see this. And I'll tell you right now, this Moana live action is going to make $1 billion. I'm just going to tell you this right now. If you don't think the live action Moana is going to make $1 billion, I'll take that bet. I think that is a very poor financial decision to bet against this thing making $1 billion. It will. And by the way, Jonathan, if you could bring up that chart again.
Oh yeah.
Of the most viewed trailers of all time. I want to point something out on this chart. There's only one movie on this list that didn't join the $1 billion club. That was it.
Only one's
That's
not
it.
Disney too.
Thor: Love and Thunder. I don't think.
Two. Transformers.
Oh,
wasn't
Transformers.
Disney
Yeah.
But you know, no, I take that back. Rise of the Beast didn't either.
And Love and Thunder didn't make $1 billion.
Because it was. Oh, that's right. I kept thinking that, but Love and Thunder made like 900 and something billion.
Yeah, really close.
But at any rate, Infinity War certainly did. Lion King certainly did. Infinity War, Endgame, No Way Home, Deadpool, Wolverine. Yeah, this movie's going to make $1 billion. I've got very, very little doubt about that. Anyway, Rob, you saw the numbers that this thing racked up. Surprised, not surprised. And what does this tell you about, you know, people's desire to see it? Maybe not as big as we thought. I don't know. What do you think about it?
Well, you and I are in the same camp on this one, buddy. I mean, this movie, Moana, who doesn't love Moana? Hell, I love Moana. Everybody loves Moana. And I'll have to say, like, you know, some people were complaining about this trailer looking exactly like the animated show. I actually would beg to differ about that. You know, water is always a difficult thing to do when you're using CG in live action. It's become much easier than it used to be. But over the last 20 years since Superman Returns, they've really, I mean, the Avatar Way of Water was, since that movie has come out, that's the most stunning. What they did with that was amazing. And they did do motion control in the water for the very first time. But I looked at this trailer and I was pretty stunned at how great it looked. I mean, I really liked the design work. I liked some of the shots in the film. And look, you can be cynical as you want. Do we need these live action versions of these movies? That's not the question to ask. The question to ask is, are they well executed and are they making money? And the answer is, when they are well executed, they're making money. And I think this film, like you said, is going to make $1 billion. It's going to make $1 billion. And I'll tell you something. Even I want to see The Rock as Maui in live action. Yeah. Even I want to see that. And just because I know he'll bring it. And is this my favorite Disney franchise? No. But it's definitely something that's going to make a lot of money. And when it comes down to it, it ain't show friends, it's show business. And if this is good business, and it clearly is, why not make it? It's going to be good.
I mean, obviously, the original movie's so good. Even if you just follow the blueprint, it should do well.
And
but
the girl
again,
they cast, John, that girl.
Oh,
she's like
so
the girl
right
they
on.
got to be in Lilo and Stitch. I mean, it's like totally adorable. You can't find anybody that's better cast than that. I mean, I haven't seen her act, but just the image of her singing, I'm like, I don't know where they find these actresses, but they're perfect.
And her voice was fantastic.
Fantastic.
Her voice already fantastic. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The Moana trailer just passed one of the Infinity War trailers. It got 182 million views in the first 24 hours. I think you're kind of crazy if you don't think this movie is going to make $1 billion. Anyway, whatever you feel about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we still got to talk about this Netflix story that came out, which is a new story has emerged showing that Netflix has determined that if they do win the bidding for Warner Brothers and get it, they're going to put out Warner Brothers films in theaters. We're going to talk about that and a little bit more. But first, we're going to take a second and thank one of the sponsors of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at BetterHelp. Guys, we want to take a second and thank the sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. You know, guys, as the days start to get shorter and it starts getting dark before you've even had dinner, this time of year can feel a little heavier than usual. And something I've been trying to do lately is to reach out to people I haven't connected with in a while. Just last week, I messaged a buddy of mine that I haven't talked to in a while, and we just grabbed lunch. And afterwards, I found myself thinking, why didn't I do this sooner? This time of year isn't easy for everyone, and staying connected really does matter. We're better when we have community, when we have support, and when we make the effort to check in with the people we know and love, and check in with ourselves. And for a lot of people, reaching out for therapy is the same way. It can feel like a big first step, but once they do, they often say, why didn't I do this sooner? And BetterHelp can be that first step. BetterHelp's therapists follow a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the US. They'll also do the matching work for you. After a short questionnaire, they'll help connect you with someone who fits your needs, drawing on more than 12 years of experience. And if the match isn't quite right, you can switch therapists anytime. So this month, don't wait to reach out. Whether you're checking in on a friend or reaching out to a therapist yourself, BetterHelp makes it easier to take that first step. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Campea. That's betterhelp.com/Campea. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Zapier. You know, one of the biggest game changers of the past year has been AI. But let's be real, just talking about AI doesn't actually make your day any more productive. What does make it more productive is finding tools to put AI to work for you. And that's where Zapier comes in. Zapier is the easiest way to take AI and plug it directly into the apps and processes that you're already using every day. No IT bottlenecks, no complexity, just results. For me, it's been about saving time on repetitive stuff so I can focus on the work that matters and I actually enjoy. And it's not just me. Over 3.4 million companies are already using Zapier to streamline everything from sales and marketing to IT and HR. With their AI orchestration platform, you can connect top AI models like ChatGPT or Claude right into the apps you already use. So whether it's automatically enriching leads, coaching your sales team, or even resolving IT tickets, Zapier makes it simple. Guys, join the 3.4 million companies already automating with Zapier and transform how you work with Zapier and AI. Get started for free by visiting zapier.com/Campea. That's zapier.com/Campea. Thank you to our friends at BetterHelp and Zapier for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, listen, we're running a little bit long today in the show, probably because I ranted for so long for about now you've seen me. So anyway, we're going to take a couple of topics that we were going to talk about, including the new
Oh, starting to lose you there, John.
Oh, are you starting to lose me?
Now I got you. Now I got you. Right there.
You have to say that again.
Yeah, just say that part again. About moving.
All right. Well,
stories.
the show is running a little bit long today, so instead of covering the two stories we have on our topics list of the Hunger Games trailer and the Kevin Spacey issue, we're going to bump those ones to tomorrow's show, and we're going to jump right into this lead story we have on Netflix and Warner Brothers. Now, you guys know that Warner Brothers is now up for sale, and it looks like one of the leads in that race is Paramount. They say they're going to be putting up a $71 billion bid for it. Whether that's true or not, we'll find out soon. But one of the other companies that's quietly become a major contender in this race is Netflix. Now, I hate the idea of Netflix getting it. But I have said, to be fair, that if Netflix made some sort of commitment to keeping Warner Brothers intact as a studio and kept Warner Brothers as a theatrical company, I wouldn't mind it so much. Well, according to new reports that have come out, apparently a part of Netflix bid is that they will continue to put out Warner Brothers films theatrically. That is what the reports are coming out of the major trades, is that if Netflix gets it, they intend to continue to put out Warner Brothers films theatrically. Now, the one little catch in that, and it may just be semantics and it may just be wording, the way the report was worded. But they worded it as Netflix will continue to honor all, what's the word I'm looking for? All obligations for releasing theatrical films. Now, that could mean that, oh yeah, Netflix will release all the next 3 to 4 years of films that Warner Brothers has planned with their filmmakers and all that kind of stuff. But then after those 3 or 4 years, they'll take all of Warner Brothers films and put them straight to Netflix. Maybe that is it, maybe not. Again, it may just be semantics. The big lead here, though, is that they're going to continue to put out these films theatrically. That means, were they to buy Netflix next month, Supergirl is still coming out in theaters. You know, the next big franchises that are part of Warner Brothers are coming out in theaters. And while that does not make Netflix my favorite to win the bids to buy Warner Brothers, I have to say, Rob, that if this report ends up being true, and it sounds like it's coming from a bunch of credible sources, if it does end up being true, I will say I am less opposed to it. I am less opposed to it. Now, I would still rather say have NBC Universal Comcast get it. I would still rather see Apple get it, but I won't be as, let's go to the bar because I need to find a way to get myself drunk. I'm so depressed about this if Netflix gets it now, because this mitigates it a bit for me. Anyway, Rob, you heard this story. How big of a deal is this? And does it, or would it change anyway how you would feel if Netflix ended up winning the bidding war?
Well, I mean, look, my whole problem with Netflix's philosophy is it's any streaming service, but I love Netflix and I sort of hate Netflix. I mean, they've given us things like Squid Game. You know, they had the foresight to create a worldwide library. We can see films from all over the world, TV shows from all over the world. And for that, I will be forever grateful to Netflix. I love Netflix. I really do. You know, we're getting Stranger Things. The downside, however, is with analytic-driven storytelling. There's no reason, I mean, Warner Brothers has been doing a tremendous job going into their back catalog and remastering films from the 30s, 40s, 50s, and really going into the old MGM and old MGM's and Warner Brothers catalog together and reviving that catalog. Netflix is never going to do that. They're never going to have a priority to preserve cinema history because there's no analytic-driven reward at the end of that rainbow, so to speak. So that bothers me if Netflix is going to get Warner Brothers. That said, it doesn't really address what you asked. If Netflix now suddenly acquires Warner Brothers that has a very well-oiled marketing machine that knows how to release theatrical features, and of course, they have great relationships with all the theatrical distribution pipelines, and they know all the theater owners. They know they do their big presentations at CinemaCon. It would make sense that they would then say, well, let Warner Brothers be Warner Brothers. We'll reap the benefits of what they do. We just will own them. If that's what they want to do, I'd say, okay. So, look, I think it remains to be seen. I don't like the idea of Netflix buying Warner Brothers. But if they're going to, and they've decided that they're going to commit to theatrical, I think that's a really great thing. I think what they should really do is commit to the legacy of Warner Brothers because they're acquiring one of the great film libraries of all time, and they're going to have it in perpetuity throughout the rest of the universe forever. So I think that's a great thing. I would just like to see them maximize what it is that they're buying.
Yeah, and I get, but that becomes a trick, right? It's like if they buy it and they look in an ideal world, Rob, they do what Disney did when they bought 20th Century. 20th Century still have, yes, they are under the Disney umbrella. Yes, they report to Disney, but they maintained an infrastructure. They maintained their own leadership group. They have their own projects that they do. Again, all falling under Disney and working with Disney as distribution, but they're allowed to still function. If Netflix buying Warner Brothers could be that kind of an arrangement, it could mitigate how terrible it is. You know, it could still be okay. And as long as we still have a Warner Brothers shield around, I'd be okay with it to a certain degree. So we're just going to have to see how all this shakes out. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? According to reports now, Netflix is saying that if they do end up winning and getting Warner Brothers, they intend to continue to let Warner Brothers films go out theatrically, because technically they're not Netflix films, they're Warner Brother films.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they mean it? I'd be okay with it if they are. Anyway, however you guys feel about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we're going to move on to the main part of our show, which is taking your live comments and questions. But before we do, we are, of course, going to bid good afternoon to the wonderful writer, director, producer, Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, great job as always, my friend. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
John, you be safe driving across the highways and byways of America.
I absolutely will. All right, guys. Just so you know, I have turned off the super chat, so you're not able to send in any more super chats. So we're just going to cover the ones that we've already had sent in. So Jonathan, let's get to it. What do we got up first?
First up, we've got AL, who says, which will make more money, Minions 3 or Moana remake?
Ooh,
That one's a little tougher.
Yeah, okay. So I would put them in a dead heat. I really would. To me, it's all going to be about which movie's better. Because if Minions really hits it, I mean, we've already seen it. Minions prints money. They just print money. Moana, I think, is going to be $1 billion film, but how high that ceiling goes is really going to depend on whether they do a good job making it. If they do a really good job making it, we're talking about 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. If they don't, then we're talking about just crawling over the 1 billion mark. Okay, so I don't like just saying push. So I'll say Minions 3 for now, but let's wait until we get closer to the release of both of them, see more marketing, and catch a feel for how good the movies actually are.
All right. We got Hayden, who says, it was great to meet you last night, John. Thank you again. Bring on the filthy.
Yeah, I remember Hayden because not many people have the same name as Hayden Christensen, who is a good Canadian kid. Yeah, again, it was so great meeting everybody in Austin last night. Everybody was so nice, and we had such a good time. So thank you for being there, and thank you to everybody again who came out for our movie meetup. It was really good for Ann and I both.
We've been asked this before, but Matan says, James Cameron said in an interview that he doesn't know when Avatar 4 and 5 are starting to shoot. Should we be worried of yet another delay?
Well, I mean, it's an odd statement because we already know, as a matter of fact, that they've shot a bunch of stuff for Avatar 4 already. Like that's public knowledge and a matter of fact. So, I mean, I really don't know. Somebody asked the other day if Avatar 3 will get delayed. It's like, no, that's not getting delayed. That's done. Somebody asked, is Michael going to get delayed? No, that's locked and done. But 4 and 5, listen, historically, that's what happens with the Avatar films. They get delayed. That's just historical fact. It happens. So I'm not anticipating it, but it certainly is not outside the realm of possibility that those ones get delayed again.
All right.
What's next?
We got Jason Young, who says, I work for Cinemark and was able to attend the movie meetup on Tuesday.
Great.
What a great turnout. The following day, the theater GM was so impressed with you staying 3 hours to personally greet everyone that attended that he posted. That he posted a picture of you holding court with an entire audience in our internal company message board.
Oh, wow.
I'm happy to send you and the crew the pic. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Listen, I'd love to get it. Just email me at john@thejohncampeashow.com. I would love to see it. Yeah. And the general manager's name was Michael. I had a chance to talk to him afterwards. It was great. I mean, the theater was so accommodating and so great. And like one of the things that I do, because I'm so grateful for everybody who comes out. And I say this at the beginning of the movie meetups. I say, listen, I am going to stay as long as it takes to meet every single person who wants to meet me. And it often means we aren't getting out of there till after 1 o'clock in the morning. But I mean, I'm just so honored for each person that comes, that if somebody comes and they want to, for whatever reason, they want to meet me, I'll stick around and do it. And Michael stayed the whole night. He was the general manager of the theater, stayed there the whole time too. So I had a chance to talk to him a little bit afterwards, and that was really great. So anyway, yeah, I would love to get those pictures if you have them. I'd love to see it. All right, what's next?
We got, excuse me, Attack of the Mushi. What are you grateful for? Oh, a lot of things. My family, this community.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, that's the first thing, since that's what we've been talking about right now is the community. I mean, I'll tell you what, look, I'm not going to lie to you. Everybody from time to time gets down about their job. Everybody does, right? You do, I do. And I'm not going to lie. Last couple of days, a couple of things have happened that have made me feel kind of down about my job. But then going to the movie meetups in Dallas and Austin, man, that really has a way of changing your spirits and everything too. And like I am extremely grateful for our community a lot. All right, what's next?
Cutter says, cut it off here. Speaking of Cutter says, John, it was amazing to meet you last night. It was one of the best nights of my life. Forgot to ask you, what are your thoughts on the Dallas Stars?
You mean the Minnesota North Stars? Back when Dino Ciccarelli used to light it up for the Stars. I mean, I like the Dallas Stars. I always have. They have consistently put out a solid team. I mean, I think they are better than their record shows so far. So, man, when I think of the Dallas Stars, I still think of the Stars. And
starting to get choppy
did
here,
you lose
John.
me?
Just for a second. We got up to where you said when I think of the Dallas Stars, and then I missed
I just think of the Minnesota North Stars. That's what I think of. Yeah.
We got
all right, what's next?
X-Men Superfan says thoughts on Lauren Bacall as an actress. Man, she was an actress who wasn't just your typical studio heroine. She had an edge to her.
No, and she does a lot of different kinds of roles and a lot of different kinds of movies. I mean, whenever she pops up and stuff, I mean, she's always great.
We got comics with Izzy versus New York. Superman 1 just sold for 9.1 million. Just wanted to share. Wow. So like a 9.8, I'm guessing.
What are we talking about?
I'm guessing the comic book. And it wouldn't, Superman 1 versus like his first appearance, I guess. So
like,
Superman,
are we talking about the Superman? You're talking about the Action Comics?
Yeah.
Action Comics?
Or the actual Superman #1 and not his first appearance. Because I think it's
Superman's first appearance, that iconic image where with Superman holding up the car over his head.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe that was called Superman. I believe that was called Action Comics.
Yeah.
But if they're talking about actual Superman #1, and if we are talking about a comic book, because he didn't mention comic book.
Right.
But if that's what we're talking about, yeah, man, that's crazy money, dude. That's crazy money.
Yeah, I think it was Superman #1 probably, where he's just like in like a circle. We got let's see. X-Men Superfan says thoughts on When Harry Met Sally. You know what's funny? Once in a while I watch these like movie reactions where people like on YouTube, they rewatch old movies. I did that for Harry Met Sally last night, just randomly. I love that movie.
I mean, listen, it's got one of the most iconic romantic comedy scenes ever in the history of Hollywood. Of course, in the diner with Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not one of my all-time favorite but it's a really good movie. Yeah. It's really good. It's just not, I don't rank it as high as a lot of other people do. That's all.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Tevin, if you get a chance to pass through Houston, you must try AMC Willowbrook. They have a new sound system that's comparable to Dolby recliners, dividers between rows for extra space. Great experience.
You know, we are going to do Houston next year. I think we're going to have to do like San Antonio, because there's a number of cities that we're not hitting this tour. So like, I think we're going to have to do one leg next year, maybe in March or April, maybe May, where we do like San Antonio, Houston, Atlanta, New Orleans, like a bunch of cities that we're not doing on this leg. But I definitely want to hit Houston next time for sure. And that sounds great. That AMC sounds great. All right, what's next?
We got Joe Adonis who says, hi, John. HBO has conversations about rescuing Poker Face. Does this mean they are pursuing Rian Johnson and having the Knives Out franchise on WB?
No, one has nothing to do with the other. One has absolutely nothing to do with the other. Now, of course, that doesn't disqualify that Warner Brothers would be interested in the Knives Out franchise as well. Absolutely. But they're separate projects. They're treated as such. So let's say they do end up rescuing Poker Face and bringing Poker Face to HBO. That doesn't at all mean that they're going to be getting the Knives Out franchise at all. It doesn't preclude it, but it absolutely doesn't mean it either. All right, what's next?
Gavin says, John, over under 1.5 scenes in Doomsday trailer will be fake to throw us off for reference Infinity War had too.
You know what? Everybody kept saying that since the Infinity War stuff with running Hulk, and so far it's never happened again, at least to any real major degree. Like, I'm sure a little scene that was going to be in the movie that then got cut from the movie ended up in the trailer, but ever since they did that thing with fake Hulk running through Wakanda,
right?
Everybody thinks every Marvel trailer has a whole bunch of fake misdirect, and it just hasn't been that way. We've had a lot of movies in the MCU since that happened, so I'm not expecting any. To be honest with you, I'm not expecting any.
I feel like the closest we got more recently was the Spider-Man No Way Home, where they took out the two Spider-Man characters as they were like. But I mean, that's the same scene. That scene's there.
Yeah, that wasn't like the Hulk situation where they literally created a fake scene.
Yeah.
They took a scene that was actually in the movie, but digitally removed a couple of characters that they were trying to keep under wraps for the moment. That's a really different thing. Yeah. That's a very different set of circumstances. So do I expect them to try to hide some things? Sure. But do I expect them to do what they did with Infinity War, where they literally are creating fake scenes to create this false impression? I honestly, I don't think they're going to do that for this one. I really don't.
X-Men says, what's a film?
Well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
So somebody in the live chat, see, this is a great example of what I mentioned earlier. Sad Ace said they showed Malkovich in the F4 trailer. Yes, because he was going to be in the movie.
Right, and they cut him later.
When they made that trailer, John Malkovich's character was going to be in the movie. It was part of the movie.
Yeah.
Later on, as they kept going through the editing process, they made the decision to take the character out of the movie to tighten up the film. But that's a very different situation, because he was in the movie when they made the trailer. So, I mean, that can happen for sure, because it's still the movie's still a year away. Maybe something gets into the trailer that maybe ultimately they cut out of the film, but that's not them doing misdirect. That's not them trying to deceive us. That's an honest thing that he was in the movie, so we put him in the trailer, and then later a decision was made to remove him. So it's a totally different set of circumstances.
And they were public with that. So, X-Men says, "What's a film that fills you with wonder when you watch it?" A lot of it.
Man of Steel still. Yeah. Man of Steel does.
You know, honestly,
that first flight scene when he flies for the first time, man, that's just awe-inspiring to me.
Yeah. I mean, very dated, but honestly, I just rewatched Wrath of Khan, and that ending still does. When the Genesis is like creating the planet.
Yeah, creating the world.
Still does. It's dated looking, but it still does it. Okay, X-Men follows up. Why is Lee Merriweather often forgotten when people still talk about Julie Newmar and Eartha Kitt from time to time, but they never bring up Lee?
I don't think Julie or Eartha are brought up all that much.
Not much.
In many conversations at all. Honestly, I think the three of them get brought up probably just about as much as the next. But none of them get brought up all that much. And, maybe part of that is because as we move, we are now multiple numbers of generations movie-wise removed from it. And so like fewer and fewer people have seen those films today, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I'd say the amount that I hear any of those brought up is probably roughly the same. All right, what's next?
X-Men asks, what was it like to experience Ian McKellen and Sir Patrick Stewart as Charles and Eric in the original X-Men trilogy? And I mean, I think you're still like impressed with their performance to this day.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, seriously, the moment Ian McKellen says, what's the exact line? This is ours, Charles, not theirs.
Right.
Like when he says that. But see, a lot of people forget today, everybody does a lot of fan casting. John Krasinski should be Mr. Fantastic, whatever. But you got to remember, when Patrick Stewart got the role of Charles Xavier, that was the ultimate fan casting ever in the history of film.
Right.
Because in the decade leading up to the first X-Men movie coming out, every fan thing was Captain Picard as Charles Xavier. That was it. It was always him. It was him. I heard Ian McKellen brought up now and again, but nowhere near as much as Charles Xavier. And so when he got cast, it was just mass. And to this day, I don't think there's ever been a fan casting come to life the way that one did. And I don't think there ever will be one again. All right. What's next?
All right, we got about 8 more here. D Wild says, currently watching your spoiler review with no sound, and I'm literally laughing out loud at your expressions and how animated you are. No spoilers.
Yeah. Man, it's such a bad movie, guys. It's so bad. All right, what's next?
NK, can you explain your beef with Tyrese with a laughy face? I just always bring it up as a joke.
Okay, so it's really simple. So without litigating the whole thing again, just very quickly, Tyrese did his big meltdown when the studio gave Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham their spinoff, their Fast and Furious spinoff movie, Hobbs and Shaw, which I really like, by the way. And then Tyrese had some kind of meltdown on it. So I did a piece on it saying it's really stupid for you to come out and have a meltdown over that. So anyway, after that, I start getting notes from Tyrese on Instagram saying, send me your phone number. Send me your phone number. And I'm like, no, I don't want to talk to you. I'm not sending you my phone number. Anyway, so it was really nothing more than that. It was nothing more than that. It's not like it became some big beef. Right. I would even doubt today if you said the name John Campea to Tyrese Gibson that he would even know who you're talking about. But to be fair, then I saw, what was that little? He did this little, more of like an indie cop film, something blue. The color blue was in the title. Anyway, it might have been black and blue. Anyway, and I actually quite liked it. And it was black and blue. Yeah, and I actually quite liked it. And I actually quite liked him in it. So like, I dropped him a note on Instagram saying, hey, for what it's worth, I really like this new film of yours, and I thought you were quite good in it. Now that was like a year later or something like that. But that's it. There's no real beef with me and Tyrese. Tyrese probably doesn't even know my name after that afternoon. Like that one day he knew who I was, and he probably has no idea who I am anymore. And that's it. That's the whole thing. And that's why we just make a joke out of it once in a while.
But he will be at the next.
All right, what's next? Yeah, definitely he'll be at the next movie meetup for sure.
This is a two-parter from Jude. Hello, John. It was so nice to see you in Austin along with Dr. Campea. I'm glad you all like the drawing I gifted, bringing up Filthy Sports to you last night.
Oh, yeah.
What are your thoughts on Spurs so far? For LA, I'm impressed with the Lakers so far. Also, safe travels.
Man, it's good to be a Spurs fan right now. Wemby is look, we all knew when he came into the league that he was the real deal. Oh, did you guys lose me again?
No, just a choppy, but we heard it.
All right. Like we all knew Wemby was the real deal. We all knew if he puts on some weight, he's going to get real good. So he comes into this year, maybe 15 pounds heavier, and he's dominating. And I was talking to somebody else last night where I said, listen, if Wemby puts on another 15, he's going to dominate. Like, there's never going to be another Shaq, but he's going to be Shaq-like. He will, because he's already starting to outmuscle some guys. I mean, this is a guy who's like 7'25", can ball handle, can pass, and can shoot threes for some reason. He's a specimen. And so, and he's still way, way young. He's not even near the peak of his powers yet. So it's good to be a Spurs fan right now if you are. All right, what's next?
We got X-Men who says thoughts on the punk rock and hopecore effect the Superman film had.
Well, I don't know if it had an effect on anything, but I really did like, I mean, like, especially that whole end sequence. Like, I've been listening to that Teddy Bears song, Punk Rocker. That's in my regular playlist. Like, whenever I get in my car now and I say, hey Siri, play YouTube music, boom. Oh, damn. Now my iPad is trying to do that. So hold on a second. And that's constantly in my rotation there. So, yeah, I thought it was a really nice little nod.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
David Cushman says, hi, John. Are you going to watch WWE Survivor Series War Games November 29?
Probably not. The next one I'll probably watch is, like, I watch WrestleMania every year. And then I'll watch one or two things that Nigel McGuinness is in because of Corey. But I'm probably not going to watch this one. All right, what's next?
All right, we got X-Men Superfan says thoughts on All About Eve. Man, I haven't watched that in a long time.
Betty Davis, Ann Baxter, Marilyn Monroe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a classic. It's a total classic.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. And then we got finally up here, Scott D. What does Kristoff and Sven's voice actor Jonathan Groff get for, I guess, pay if Kristen Bell and Adele Dazeem and Josh
Adele Dazeem
get 60 million? He voices 2 characters.
I who knows? Who knows?
We need to get more clarification on this.
Absolutely. Again, I don't believe it. Again, and that's not me trying to disparage the rap or their reporting, but this is so unbelievable to me that I will not believe this report until I hear it backed up by somebody else as well. It's just so inconceivable to me that any studio would be this financially irresponsible. But we'll find out.
Yeah.
And all right, guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported our channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the show, thank you guys so very much for your support. Of course, big thank you to Robert Meyer Burnett, our technical producer, Jonathan Voigt.
See you guys later.
My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.